Two young men, born under the same mother in the new colonies, learn to make a living for themselves, picking up survival skills from a young age by their indigenous counterparts. Although they are not indigenous themselves, their mother is married to a Shawnee man known as Little Dog Ogalala, who was killed during a altercation in Pennsylvania. These two young men, now in their early 20s, will prove their skills by leading their own trapping and hunting expedition into the uncharted Ohio country, with goals of finding their own fortune away from the tribe in Pennsylvania. Watch as the brothers embark on an educational voyage showing the viewer the ins and outs of the wild frontier, as well as opening the doors to the United States we know and love today. We are here in the Ohio country, 1762, mid-spring with moderate temperatures. As we walk, forests are dense, covered with brush and debris. We look for clear paths that animals have taken, such as deer, black bear, wolf. We were French colonists brought in under the Shawnee Native American tribe. This affiliation means we are no longer ruled by the colonists. Instead, we are head under Chief Little Turtle. There's a good amount of trust involved with bringing in colonists to a tribe, but we are all the same and equal. As we walk through the large patches of greenery, we approach an area to take a rest for a sip of spring water. We always look for widowmakers, overhanging trees, or newly broken trees or branches, and trees to set up against for shade. We stay focused and always remember we are not the only ones here, and we could be battling a tribe if we walked onto an already charted territory. We look around for vines and mushrooms, which may help us create fire, and we could cook them down to have alongside prepared dinners over fire. The day is young. We sit and play a game of cards. Often when natives or colonists discover a new place of interest to them, possibly at a later time, would write about it in a journal and would often fantasize about what they look at. After our game, we decided we are ready to pack up and leave. We tighten up our leg ties, pull up our leggings, and relight our sage to ward off enemies and to gain trust with ones who approach us. I, Reaping Elk on the right, am wearing a brown muted color work shirt with a canvas cloth breechcloth, green striped wool sash, jute leg ties, brain tan moccasins, red cloth stockings, and a jute cross-weaved bag. Long Hunter on the right is wearing a white work frock, leather leggings, cloth breechcloth, wool sash, buckskin moccasins, leather shooter's pouch, jute leg ties, jute bag, and haversack ordinaire. We both have gourds and animal hides for trade and status, as well as jewelry such as trade beads, wood beads, and making use of animal bones and plant material as much as possible. We notice ivy filling in over the ground. Long Hunter points at new growth as we approach a vine that will give us dry fibers that are great for starting fires. Reaping Elk spots moss growing on a log from afar. I give the fibers to Long Hunter to put in his pouch. Starting to see the sun go down, we need to look for a place to set up camp for the night. We always keep our eyes out for animal tracks or activity to tell if they are nearby. Long Hunter spots a deer track and a small patch of hair that looks like rabbit or wolf. Reaping Elk sees a clearing in the woods. We will make sure to check for widowmakers or hanging trees above, and will clear out an area to set up camp. As we set up camp, we make sure the surroundings are clear and there is no disturbed ground that was made previously. We often make and sew our own items and regalia. To go aside that, we trade for materials that either one of us has better access to. It's good to drink some water after that hard work. We make ourselves at home. Reaping Elk looks through his bag for some vegetables or bread to snack on and to share with Long Hunter. Reaping Elk notices a large bird in the trees, possibly a crow. I start to think about making supper. Sun is setting in the west. We leave camp to find a place to work on flint projectiles and knives. You can find flint locally or trade for higher quality and more sought after materials, such as Flint Ridge or Wyandotte Chert. The local flint and cherts have imperfections like quartz deposits and fossils embedded, but you can still create very nice pieces. To nap the material down from a large piece to a dart or arrow point or blade, you have to switch in between tools to achieve the desired look or effect you're going for. If you plan on just cutting meat and vegetables, a fine blade will do best, but if you plan on cutting animal hide or tendons or tough fatty areas, a serrated blade would be most appropriate. The tools we use to achieve such objects include antler boppers, hard round rocks, antlered tines, and a sandstone abrader to sand away the sharp edge so the bopper can grab onto the flake. This skill is best by passing previous learned knowledge together to help shape in the ideas while creating projectiles. Flint is a wonderful material and is great for many different things, like fire starting with a steel bar. Once a good spark lands on the dry grass fibers, it will light up in flames, where then you can cup it and proceed to blow on it. Then you can put it in your fire along with your kindling and needles or other flammable material, bark, and dead grass. Around springtime, beavers make dams which floods low elevation ground to create living habitats for other creatures, and the warm temperatures bring out deer and birds, which makes a good time to go hunting or leave out traps on active animal trails, then come back to receive the kill. Colonists often trade muskets to help in battles, but we were taught how to shoot bow and arrow and use spears by our native counterparts. It is good to look for springs or freshly dropped rain puddles, as that would be excellent for drinking water. Spearfishing is a great activity to take part in around this time of year. The rivers and creeks meander, and there's natural settling pools where after a large rain, the lakes, ponds, or rivers flood and the fish are forced in areas where they usually aren't. Foraging plants and mushrooms, a green-leafed plant called ramps you can find in the forest alongside with wild mushrooms. It's pretty easy to build and cook meals over the fire. Get out there and explore nature.